Well, Rob and Maurice, it's great to see you guys. It's been 2 years.
Great to see you,
Oh
Dean.
my gosh, nice to see you, Dean. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. The first question I want to ask is, what was your favorite segment of the first season of the new reboot? Since we're about to go into our second season come November 5th.
I have to say that I really enjoyed the sort of Murder on the Orient Express show, that or episode. That one I quite enjoyed it. Also because Tress MacNeille played this, this very grand dame, and she's just such a gas to listen to. So I really enjoyed that one.
I was particularly fond of the episode where Brain constructs a son, and that I got to sing a song in that, and I didn't go off key too much. She was takes where I managed to hit all the notes and cobble them together, Frankenstein style. I loved that. I got to play a lot of emotional notes in that. It was at the end a very, very heartwarming show.
Well, those are 2 great episodes, season 1. Thank you both so much. It's great to talk to you again.
Thank you, Dean. Pleasure.
Hi, can we get your question?
Yes, for sure. So, Maurice, I have to say, for someone who gets triggered often because I have a big fear of rodents, I thoroughly enjoy watching Pinky and the Brain on my screen. Now, Pinky and the Brain is such an iconic duo and continues to liven up our screens even to this day. Now, one episode this season, we see Pinky make a video on how to take over the world. Out of all the cartoon characters besides Pinky and the Brain, of course, which cartoon character do you think would do a successful job if they had a chance to rule the world?
Oh boy.
Goodness, that's a good question. Which cartoon character would take over the world the best? Well, I think Jay Sherman from The Critic. Well. Because he has such high standards, everything stinks. His highest rating is 2.5 stars. That's just my personal favorite. I'm on a campaign to get The Critic rebooted. Let's see. Who would make... Well, I think in a Bugs Bunny world, I think things might run pretty coolly. He's a cool guy. He's got some good ideas. He doesn't keep himself alive.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I wouldn't want it to go to anybody like Simon Barr Sinister from the original Underdog, even though he tried to take over the world as well. Here come, Cad. Back to the lab to plan for... No, he never said that.
Good job.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
Can we get your question?
Dr. Doom might have been an idea as well.
Oh, is it me? Did I hear
Yes,
my name?
Steve, please.
Oh, okay, great. Hi, Rob, Maurice. It is a privilege to speak with you.
Oh,
honestly, I
Our
love
privilege
your
to talk
work.
to you, my friend.
Thank you. Can I say I would not complain if one day Pinky and the Brain ended up on Futurama or vice versa. But anyway,
a great idea, Maurice. Do you know anybody you could talk to?
Nobody who hasn't changed their number recently.
it's fair. Well, I was wondering to you both, like Animaniacs, here we are back with the reboot.
Yeah.
Season 2. And I was wondering what it is about this project that sets it apart from other roles for you. And what is it about Pinky and the Brain that you think people find so endearing?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You take it, Robbo.
I think that what sets it apart for me is that, as we've said a couple of times today, this is a love story. Pinky and the Brain really love each other. And I think one of the reasons that it translates pretty well to the screen is that life has imitated art. I love Maurice. We are the dearest of friends. We realize, of course, this is a silly cartoon show, but
so is our life.
Right. So is our
Yes.
life. When we do, if you're going to be authentic, acting is acting. The whole idea is that you embody these characters. You don't acknowledge the fact that it's silly or otherwise. This is damn truth. You are about taking over the world and supporting your guy, supporting the man who, or the mouse whom you believe has the best interests of the world at heart. Whether it's nefarious or not is not Pinky's MO. It's about, I believe that the brain has the best of intentions, and I'm going to do everything I can to help him achieve his goal. And he hits me on the head for doing something stupid. So that's why I think they work together.
Yeah, it's a show about a friendship. It's a show about a character. You know what Peter Cook and Dudley Moore described as the uninformed idiot and the informed idiot.
Yeah.
And Brain being the informed idiot who, though he's supposedly a genius, isn't smart enough to know that a 2-inch tall lab mouse can't possibly take over the world, and so he's rendered harmless at that point. And that's another reason people can get with him, because they know he's no danger. Of course, setting aside the fact that he's an animated cartoon, but that could just be part of the illusion of my plan to take over the world. Yes, Steve. And Steve, did I detect a Canadian accent there by chance?
You did. I'm impressed. I'm from Toronto.
That's because I'm from Toronto, eh?
Really?
Yeah, I grew up in Willowdale, eh? North York, eh? Finch Leslie. Yeah.
Agincourt.
Agincourt. George Vanier Secondary School, eh?
No way.
Yeah, way. Same high school as Rush.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy.
Rick, go ahead.
Oh, you're still muted, Rick.
Yeah, Rick, you're muted.
There you go. Hi, Rick.
Hi. I can talk again. Hey, Maurice, have you wrapped your head around the fact that this group of shows is being seen by the kids of the generation that you first entertained? And secondly, real quickly, if you had just started the show today, would you have looked at the brain and said Orson Welles, or do you think you would have gone with a different voice?
It's two good questions. Let me answer the first question, the second question first. The original design of Brain was very Orson Wellesian, and such to the point that I actually, in my hubris, believed they'd created the character with me in mind, because I was notorious for doing Orson Welles whenever there was a break in recording, whenever they, and so I just thought, oh, they've created this Orson Welles lab mouse for me. It's a formality. The audition's a mere formality, my friend. So I just laid down my Orson Welles, and there we went. And he's more angular now. I don't know that I might have seen Orson Welles in there, and the ergo may not have ended up with the job. So I'm glad we started it when we did. And your first question has completely left me because I'm old. Would you just say it again?
It's a generation that's watching now who's
yes, absolutely. In fact, it hit me at Comic-Cons. A couple of years ago, I started noticing that I already knew that the generation that watched our show had hit their mid-30s. It was when their little kids started pointing to Pinky and the Brain and wanting an autograph of a Pinky and the Brain. I went, how old is he? And they go, 10. I go, how does he know about Pinky and the Brain? Because I show it to him, on the DVDs, the box sets, all of that. And now we're noticing that the dads that sat with their kids in the 90s are now the granddads and grandmoms of the little kids who are asking for that picture with their kids. 3 generations are standing in front of our tables at Comic-Cons, asking for autographs. So that's kind of fun.
That's really unusual too, Rick. I think the only other show I can think of that is still in production is The Simpsons, where that would have happened. But we have gotten this incredible, glorious opportunity as a result of, the stars aligning in Hulu, with a 25-year break in between. It's so unprecedented to do it again and then have all these world-class journalists talk to us about season 2, and the show is now an unqualified hit again with an exponentially larger audience. Just remarkable, Rick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob and Maurice. You both are voice gods. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
Very kindly.
Thank you, Rick. Lou, can we get your question?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Lou.
Hey, Lou.
How you doing, Rob? How you doing, Maurice? Huge
very
fan.
well, thank you.
I think that Animaniacs has resonated with people. Back then, it was kind of an unprecedented series, and people still wanted that even after it ended. And it came back, and that's, you got the old audience and you've got the new audience, and it's a boom now. So the question I have here is that when you first were there different voices or characters that you tried out for when you first came onto the show? And second, are there other factors that go into choosing a voice based on a concept of a character?
I auditioned, I think we all pretty much did. As Maurice has said, we kind of got first shot at everything because we had all worked with Tom Ruegger, the genius who created Animaniacs, and Steven Spielberg, who was also involved with Tiny Toon Adventures. And so we were all already on board, and we got first crack at this stuff. And I auditioned for, I think, pretty much everything.
Me too.
Is that right, Mo? Did you?
Yeah, I read for Yakko and I read for Wakko. Didn't read for Dot and didn't read for Hello Nurse. But I mean, I took a crack at all three good feathers, and thank goodness I had just met Ray Liotta a few nights before. I happened to be next to him at a restaurant, and we ended up chatting. And so I'd had the chance to already kind of absorb his vibe just by being in his presence. Yeah. So I was good to bring that voice to it. But we all took a shot at it. It was a cattle call of the elite of the Steven Spielberg rep company. They had about a dozen of us in and let us read for everything, and it worked out as it did, and it worked out very happily.
Yeah, then they opened it up to folks in New York, and it was for me it was a 6-week audition. I had 5 or 6 callbacks over a 6-week period because it was a big deal. It was all a brand new, clean sheet of paper, lots of music, and it was a lot of we'll know it when we hear it, which to me, Lou, is a boon. I love it when a director or a producer says, you know what, man, I want to hear your take on this and you give me what you got. Because if somebody says, we're very specific in what we want, I can do my best, but if they've got it stuck in their head that, no, that's not getting close to what I want. I love it when I have a little control over what I can give them. Because that's when one of those, like with Mo, when Mo walked in to read for The Brain, once he opened his mouth and did Orson Welles, they were done. That was it.
Yep. I was the first and last person to read for that character. Andre Romano told me like a year later. She didn't want to have me get a swelled head. But they didn't read any more Brains. They just then went looking for Pinky.
Had Mo not had, he calls it hubris, I call it genius, had he not had that ability to say, oh, wait a minute, holy smoke, I know what's going to work here. He does it, and behind the glass, they just go, what? Oh my God. All right, all the rest of you, thank you very much. It won't be necessary. Bye. So that's what happens when you open it up to the actor's interpretation.
Great. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you.
We have time for one more question. Hayden, go ahead.
Righty. How are you guys?
Fine, Hayden. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you. So my question is, so one of the most endearing aspects of Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, both the original series and the revival, is the immense joy it takes in being a cartoon and everything that entails.
Beautiful.
So how is this revival pushing or reinforcing even a medium that is already defined by pushing, stretching, and defying reality?
Gosh, what a great existential question about cartoons. I love the fact that we're self-aware and that we lampoon everybody, including ourselves. In fact, if you guys recall, when the revival, and that's the word I think that is probably the best one, because I keep saying reboot, but revival works better for me. When we do the theme song, the first half is the old animation, the old lyrics, and then it switches to, the new stuff where we become self-aware. In fact, they even say gender balanced, pronoun neutral, and ethnically diverse. The trolls all say we're so passé, but we did meta first. That is freaking genius because it's self-aware, and right out of the chute, before one word of dialogue is spoken, the theme song lets you know what you're in for. Yeah. And I find that really just so badass. Really.
Yeah.
Hi, Ty.
Hi, Ty.
Hello. How are you? First of all, I love Animaniacs. I have been
Good.
watching since I was like 4 years old.
Have
I'm
you
25
really?
now.
What, have you been doing it nonstop? Your eyes must hurt really bad.
No, I have been doing this nonstop. Like I've watched the old episodes and the new ones. And what I want to say with the question is, one of the biggest issues that we have on social media pertains to queer content being introduced to children. Now, in the opening, which what I love is there's a frame where the show highlights gender fluidity and highlights folks who may identify as non-binary. Do you think conversations like this will help our youth? And if so, do you think the content like this in media will help steer better understanding and conversations of closed-minded individuals?
Wow,
Of
what
course.
a great question. Gabe, you want to hit
Yeah,
that?
of course. Like anytime you can highlight any of that will make everyone feel included. That's how I strongly believe that. So that we hear all the fans and we hear all the feedback and even all the conversations around like Wakko, and we want to try to lean into all that as much as we can. So.
When we saw the line gender biased, pronoun neutral, and ethnically diverse, right, Gabe, in the new theme song, we're like, man, this is awesome because fun is universal and everybody should be able to enjoy it, man, with none of that stigma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and in as much as we want to, we don't want to be everyone's instructor, but the little bit of knowledge and understanding that we can bring to children or our other fans, put in an entertaining way and a fun way is all good, because we can all learn to love each other and get along and have fun all together, no matter who we are.
Inclusion is faboo, basically.
Faboo.
Faboo.
Faboo. Adding that to my dictionary. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for the beautiful question.
Thank you, Ty. We'll go to Dean next. Dean Rogers.
Dean Rogers.
Oh my goodness, Trash, you're making me blush right now just hearing my name.
Hello, Dean.
Hello, Chess. Nice to see you again. We saw your awesome comment many years ago, so it's great to talk all three of you. My question is, we're about to start our second season of Animaniacs, woohoo, on November 5th, and I'd like to know, what was your favorite segment of the very first season from all three of you? What was your favorite segment?
Of this iteration or the very...
Yes, of this iteration, not way back, but of this one.
Well, for me, I hope you don't mind my speaking first, Jess. I would just like to get in my vote for all episodes that have me involved as the star. Those are the ones that are really, really good in my mind. Those stick out in my mind.
Excellent.
I loved the It parody that we did. I thought the Halloween show with where, by the way, in one of the many, many subtle tips of the hat, the great writers of the show and artists behind the show give, they were dressed as the Marx Brothers, which is so cool because the Animaniacs, Yakko, Wakko, and Dot were originally sort of based on the Marx Brothers. So to have them in those costumes, I thought was fantastic. But I really, really loved that episode. Gabe, what about you? What do you think?
I'm also with you. Like, one of my favorites is the Halloween episode with Pinky and the Brain. I loved that one. It was great.
Cool.
It was a good one. Yeah, indeed.
Awesome. And I have to agree, the Halloween was my favorite episode, the first season. So just to hear you guys say it, excellent. Thank you guys so much.
Dean, it just goes to show you have impeccable taste, man. That's all that means.
Oh, thank you.
And don't forget my Zit song.
Yeah, the Zit song.
Forgot it. It's still stuck in my head. It's still stuck in my head.
I'm so sorry.
That was great too.
Thank you, Dean. All right, we'll be moving on to the next question from Rick.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, there's Mr. Rick. There he is.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just curious. This series is now being played to a generation that the generation that you were the first group now has children.
Yes.
Is that sort of a weird concept to wrap around your head? And quickly on the second thing, you both have done so many voices. Was it hard to immediately go right back to that voice? And have you had to sort of avoid using it elsewhere over the years?
That's both good questions, man. As Tress and I have said a few times, it's like these voices in particular are part of our DNA, not only because we've never really stopped doing them at personal appearances and Comic Cons and stuff, but because we love Wakko and Dot so much. In terms of the other thing you said, all that is the idea of the two generations watching it together, Rick, is one of my absolute favorite things about doing the show. The idea of the fact that people who watched this when they were 8 years old can watch it with their 8-year-old, and they'll both find something to laugh at. Might not be the same thing, but they'll both find something to laugh at. Just makes me happy, man. Tress, what about you?
Well, I wanted to say that Rick, you mentioned not doing that voice elsewhere, and there is a temptation to lapse into a voice that comes as naturally to you as Dot does to me. But you have to keep that voice special. It's only for Animaniacs, and so you have to find another voice to give to another cartoon who might want a similar type of character. But and that's happened over the years, and you go, oh, no, that sounds a little bit too much like Dot, so I can't do that. And so you have to switch things up because you want to keep that special. That's
why it's good, Rick, when you have a lot of crayons like Miss McNeil does to color with. She can pick a different crayon.
I always like burnt sienna. I don't know why. I just think
that was my stage name for years was burnt sienna.
I know. It just sounds so cool.
Yeah. It's my porn name. But thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. Next question from Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey,
Steve
thank
Norton.
you all. I was just saying to the guys before we got in here that it feels like I'm speaking to part of the Mount Rushmore of voice talent. So I mean that genuinely. It's a real privilege to speak with you today.
We're not quite that old, but
that's fair. That's fair. But
Jess is kind of a chiseled type, right?
Indeed. Thank you, man.
That's a lot of rock right there.
That is a lot of rock. This is too much rock for one hand, Trez. That's what that is.
Well, I was wondering from you all, the Warners are such unique characters, and in their stories, I can't tell. Like, they're certainly the protagonists. Are they heroes to you? And if so, what makes them heroes?
That they come to play, that they'll deal with us, that they'll stay in the room because, in real life, they would run screaming and we'd never see them again, but they come back again and again and again for more and more, well, let's not say abuse, but for more wacky hijinks.
You know what? I really like that question. I've never had that question before, Steve. It's like, to me, I think that it's more, they approach it from a place of, at least I guess I can make it just about Wakko for a second. He doesn't really understand if something is pedestalized and everybody's like revering it and going, oh, this is so amazing. Or this person is, I'm so amazing. I did this. He goes, why? Like, who are you? And why should we all be looking up to you? And what is it that's so great about you? But I don't think he's doing it from a place of like meanness. I think he's like, well, tell me what's so awesome and maybe I'll believe it. You know what I mean? It's sort of like they're genuinely poking these holes in things that maybe deserve to have a couple holes poked in them in a benign sort of a way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I like that.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you. God bless, man. It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting
you.
All
right. We'll move on to our next question from Lou.
Lou Lamar Booker. Up Your Geek. There's the title.
Yes.
Hello, Lou.
Hello.
He's got lots of nice art and background. Looking good.
I'd like to.
Very nice.
I'd like
Did we
to
all
tell you
sign
guys.
up for you?
No.
Oh,
Shame on you. Shame on you.
I know.
No, not yet. Right. First of all, I've been a fan of. I've seen every Animaniacs from the beginning. I'm currently rewatching the originals with my kids.
You got kids?
Yes, and they were really excited about the new reiteration of this. How excited were you guys, and I guess Gabe too, like when you guys were coming up with the idea of bringing the show back, what went into that? And for the stars there, did you guys just jump at this when the idea came around to you?
Gabe, why don't you start?
Well, it all started with Steven. he said he wanted to do more. And just him saying that sentence was enough to have like companies bidding to make the show, you know?
Wow.
And then it was a matter of like, who can make it? Who can they get? Who can they sucker into this to try to do it? You know? And Wellesley and I were very nervous, very, very nervous. We both said no a couple times to the project because we were really worried about what the fans would think about a new show. And luckily, you know, Amblin and everybody had a lot of faith in us, and we did what we thought was good, and luckily the fans also loved what we liked about the show. So that's basically what happened.
Is in terms of us, I think I speak for Tress when I say, Lou, that all we were concerned about if we were going to do it again. We've been very blessed to have worked continually since Animaniacs, which may not have been the case. They might have been looking for us in a trailer park someplace, but fortunately we'd all continued to work. Our primary concern was that we were going to honor the original show, that we were going to make sure it maintained that level of quality. Because honestly, I would have rather had it end as it was, being remembered as a great thing, than having it come back and people go, yeah, but it wasn't nearly as good as it used to be. Isn't it kind of a drag? I didn't want that. So when they talked to us about it, we were all like, sounds good. And then they said Steven was involved, and we went, sounds better. And then we met the new team, and we saw the scripts, and we got to know Gabe, we got to know Wells, and we got to know the team that they put together, who are so amazing and so just so great at what they do, and they give us such good stuff to work with, that we went, okay, we're safe, we're in good hands, and we knew that we were going to honor the legacy of what it was and what it meant to folks like you know.
And it was an all new crew for us. We didn't know Gabe and Wellesley, and so the actors were a little scared, you know, to go in and meet these people and put ourselves in their hands, and because, you know, we have to do what we're told. We're not in charge, and we were just hoping for the best, and we were greatly relieved almost immediately, because we could see that we were going to be in very good hands.
And they loved it too.
It's very collaborative too. Like, we really tapped into their knowledge of the characters, and you know, it's a big team effort. It's not.
It's a great thing, man.
I'm glad that you said yes. I actually finished watching season 2 last night.
The whole season? Oh no.
I did. I absolutely binged it.
Oh wow. Well, you see more episodes than I have then.
Me too, buddy. Good for you. I'm glad you liked it. Thanks, Lou.
I hope it was good.
It was awesome.
Thank you, Lou.
All right, we are almost at time, but Hayden, I know we didn't get
Hayden.
Have you asked me a question yet, so we'll finish up with you.
Yeah, Hayden, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Great.
Good. My question kind of revolves around the Animaniacs status as an animated show. I mean, one of its most endearing aspects, both the original show and the revival, is the immense joy it takes in being a cartoon. And how is this revival kind of pushing or reinforcing this medium that is already defined by pushing, stretching, and defying reality?
Wow. Gabe, you want to start with that one?
Well, I think when we first had our meetings with Steven, I brought to him, I was like, look at all these things that are happening right now in animation. And and he was just like, oh, yeah, we could do all that. And that's what I loved about it. It's just the variety. You know, it's like, it's hard enough to make a traditionally animated show nowadays, because it's just not done. But then to put all these other styles and all these other mediums in there too, is just really makes it unique. You know, I think that's the way that we can push it. You know, and keep all the social commentary and all that stuff in there too. But as animation, I think that's the key. You know.
Well, stylistically, Gabe is such a great animator, man, and it's like they've done this stuff. Like you probably saw the anime segment in the first season where we were anime characters, and they just knocked that out of the park. And then they're doing this Thundercats thing in the new season where they're going to that kind of style, and they're sort of readapting these familiar images and characters into these new and different and varied styles that always just leave me knocked out, man. I'm like, wow, amazing.
And right from the get-go, I always thought that Animaniacs was easy on the eye. It was easy on the ear, and it was easy on the eye. You know, I mean, great music, and a lot of shows now, I won't say who, but you know, I mean, a lot of the characters are kind of ugly. And so I always thought that Animaniacs was easy on the eye and easy on the ear. And
It still is, no matter what style these guys put it in. It still looks great.
Yeah.
We're just having fun, and we hope that the audience is like coming along with us.
Hang in there.
Thank you.
Very
Hayden.
well done.
Thank you, Hayden.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the good question.
Oh, hello. Based on your recent search terms, how to make friends, funny things to look at, and harmless dinosaurs, the following ad was tailor-made just for you.
You're welcome, America.
Roll it.
Let the games begin!
Are you not entertained? Who are these things?
Not a Hulu subscriber, I'm guessing. We'll get you a 7-day free trial.
You have been shopping with my phone again.
No, we haven't.
Then who bought the industrial meat grinder?
What? Brian, have one of these delicious astronaut ice creams.
Pinky, that's a kitchen sponge.
Oh, that explains why I've barely had to use the bathroom. We can do a sit in a calm and professional manner or zany antics.
Antics! Antics!
Cue the antics! Brian, what are we going to do tomorrow night?
Try to take over the world.
What is the meaning of this nonsense?
Johnny, sweetie, relax. We're jesters. We jest. Hey, Sims! We're so meta that the shark jumps us!
We're Animaniacs, totally insane.
Back again!
Animaniacs.
Oh, Pinky, when's the last time you bathed?
It's Stinky, Stinky and the Brain.
Hey there, freaks and geeks. If you like this content and would like to view more like it, please visit us on all of our social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also visit us on our YouTube page, /UpYourGeek, and you can visit upyourgeek.com, where you can experience a new standard in geek pop culture and entertainment media, because no matter what fandom you're passionate about, we have it waiting here for you. Ready, set, up your geek.